continuous variable. Now we are going to discuss theory of attributes. Attributes are generally used for qualitative data, and these are used for also used to discuss the relationship between different qualitative data. So what are the attributes? Attributes means the quality or characteristic of some individual. Individual may be a person, may be a place or thing or any other thing on which we can take some measurements or we can measure their quality. The data for which the standard measuring devices are not available are generally called as qualitative data. Such a type of data is generally used to measure the quality of person, like hardness of a table or any metal, or length of a table, length of desk, etc. These are the qualities. Sorry, not length. Length can be measured in the terms of measuring device, or the quality of person, its IQ level, its beautifulness and other things. These cannot be measured in terms of any standard device. So these are the quality. The qualitative data cannot be measured in terms of quantity or numerical values. However, for representation, we can assign them numerical values, but they have no significance. The qualitative data can be measured in terms of presence or absence of certain characteristic or level of quality present. In statistics, the term attribute is used to represent the data which is measured in terms of some quality or qualities. That means when we are talking about quality, then it is denoted by an attribute. The type of qualitative data. Qualitative data is of three types: binary, nominal, and ordinal. Generally, binary and nominal are considered as one classification and ordinal as other. But I am discussing their three cases because these are the special cases. Binary data is if the quality is measured in terms of presence and absence, then it is called as binary data. In other words, an attribute which possesses only two categories is called as binary data. Like if we denote gender by male and female only, then it is binary. If we define education as literate and illiterate, then it is binary. Nominal data is the data which possess more than two categories which cannot be arranged in any order. That means we cannot arrange it in ascending order or descending order, then it is called as nominal data. Like gender, three categories: male, female, and transgender. Then it will become nominal data. Or that level of physical disability, like eye, ear, hand, that cannot be arranged in ascending or descending order. So it is called as nominal data. Ordinal data is that data which have more than two categories and categories can be arranged in ascending or descending order. Then it is called as ordinal data. Like level of pain. We can arrange level of pain as increasing or order, like no pain, slight pain, moderate pain, high pain, very high pain. Or we can arrange them in terms of ascending and descending order, like satisfaction from a toothpaste, highly satisfied, dissatisfied, or not satisfied, agree, disagree. Such type of levels are called as ordinal data. Further, attributes can be classified into two categories. One is called as dichotomous and other is called as manifold. Dichotomous means two categories only. That is, binary type qualitative data can also be called as dichotomously classified. And if attribute possesses more than two categories, then it is called as manifold. So the nominal and ordinal type of qualitative data are also called as manifold classified. Further, contingency table. We have already discussed contingency table in data representation. I am giving an overview here also. if the measurement are taken over two different attributes for same set of individual, then to represent the data, contingency table are used. In such table, row represents the one attribute and column represents another attribute. The value in the cell shows the frequencies called as cell frequencies or class frequencies. If both attributes are dichotomously classified, then contingency table is called as 2 cross 2 contingency table. And if at least one attribute is manifold, then table is called as M cross N contingency table. Here it is the general notation of M cross N contingency table. Attribute A have N classification, N categories. Attribute B has M categories. Here, categories are represented by numbers 1, 2 to J and M. And for attribute A, these are represented as 1, 2, dot, 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 I to N. That is, attribute A has N categories and attribute B has M categories. F11, F12, Fij represents the frequencies for class. That is, F11 is number of individuals having attribute A and attribute B both at level 1. F12 is the frequency of the individuals having attribute A at level 1 and attribute B at level 2. F1 naught or Fi naught is row wise total of frequency, and F naught J represents the column wise total of the frequency. That is, F naught 1 is number of individual having level category 1 of attribute B. Similarly, F2 naught is the number of individuals having category 2 of attribute A. N is total frequency, that is total number of individuals involved in the study. So Fij is the number of observations classified as ith level of attribute A and jth level of attribute B. For example, I have taken educational level, that is ordinarily classified, illiterate, primary, high school, inter, and more than inter. That is, it is manifold. And gender, that is male and female, it is dichotomous. So one is manifold and other is dichotomous, so it is a M cross N type contingency table. You can say it is 5 cross 2 contingency table. Here 50 is the cell frequencies, which shows the number of illiterate males. Similarly, here 65 is number of females educated up to high school. So what are the class frequencies? The categories of attributes are termed as class and their frequencies are termed as class frequencies. For dichotomous attribute, the presence of attribute is termed as positive class and absence is termed as negative class. Positive classes are generally denoted by the capital letters of English, or you can say capital Roman letters like A, B, C, D, and so on. And negative classes are generally denoted by Greek letters like alpha, beta, gamma, delta, etc. The frequencies of these classes are represented by putting these letters in braces if we are denoting it. Otherwise, we can put the number in place of these. So A in small braces is a frequency of individuals possessing the positive level of first attribute. Alpha is the number of individuals possessing the negative class of first attribute. In same manner, the higher order class frequencies can be represented by clubbing two or more letters in small braces A, B, AC, alpha, beta, alpha, gamma, alpha, beta, gamma, and so on. Second is ultimate class frequencies. If we are considering n attributes simultaneously, then class frequencies of order n are called as ultimate class frequencies. That is, the class frequencies of highest order are called as ultimate class frequencies. The number of ultimate class frequencies is 2 to the power n. If we consider 4 dichotomous attributes simultaneously, then ultimate class frequencies will be 2 to the power 4, which will give 16. That is 16 ultimate class frequencies. In same manner, the total number of class frequencies, if we consider n dichotomously classified attributes, then it will be 3 to the power n. That is, if we have 4 attributes considered which are dichotomously classified, then the total number of class frequencies will be 3 to the power 4, which will give 81. It will involve different orders, that is A alpha, B beta, C gamma, then D delta, then AB, AC, AD, and so on, all type of class frequencies up to level 4. So what is the order of class frequencies? So order of class frequencies is the number of attributes considered simultaneously. Then it defines the order of class frequency. The number of class frequencies of order R in case of n dichotomously classified attribute is given by NCR to the power R. For example, we consider the 3 dichotomously classified attribute, then order 0, there will be 3 orders, 4 orders, 0, 1, 2, and 3. 0 order is total frequency, that is denoted by capital N, and its number will be 3 is total number of dichotomously classified attributes. So 3C0, 2 to the power 0. Order is 0, so R will become 0, and 3 attributes are considered, so n will become 3. So 3C0, 2 to the power 0, it will be solved, it will give 1. Similarly, for order 1, there will be 6 frequencies, can be easily obtained, 3C1, 2 to the power 1. These will be A, alpha, B, beta, C, and gamma. Similarly, for order 2, we can select any 2 of these 3 dichotomously attributes simultaneously, which will give 3C2 into 2 to the power 2 class frequency. That is 12 different class frequencies. If we select first 2 attributes A and B, then it will give AB, A beta, alpha B, alpha beta. If we take A and C simultaneously, then it will give AC, A gamma, alpha C, alpha gamma. And if we select B and C, then it will give class frequencies BC, B gamma, beta C, and beta gamma. So you can count, these are 12 class frequencies. Similarly, of order 3, which will be in this case the ultimate class frequencies, it will be 3C3, 2 to the power 3, that will give 8. When we consider all the 3 attributes simultaneously, it will give ABC, A beta C, A B gamma, A beta gamma, alpha B C, alpha beta, alpha B gamma, alpha beta C, and alpha beta gamma. So these are 8 different class frequencies. Now there is always exists a relationship between class frequencies, and higher or lower order class frequencies can be represented as the sum of higher order class frequencies. For example, in case of 3 dichotomously classified attributes A, B, C, we can write total frequency is equals to first sum of first order class frequency, that is A plus B plus C plus alpha plus beta plus gamma. Similarly, we can write A as AB plus A beta, that is presence of other attribute and absence of other attribute and their addition. So AB plus A beta, you can also write it AC plus A gamma, that will give same quantity. Similarly, alpha can be represented as alpha B plus alpha beta or alpha C plus alpha gamma. Similarly, second order can be represented as sum of third order. AB will become ABC plus AB gamma. That is, AB both are present. So in both, AB is present and C is changing C and gamma. Similarly, A beta can be represented as A beta C plus A beta gamma. Alpha beta can be represented as alpha beta C plus alpha beta gamma. And we can put these values in previous expression, that is expression of A, B, C, alpha, beta, gamma. Then we can express the first order class frequency in terms of third order class frequencies. Now we come to the independence and association of attributes. So two attributes A and B are said to be independent if the proportion of A's amongst B is same as proportion of A's amongst betas, or the proportion of B among A is similar to proportion of B among alphas. That is, we can write it as class frequency AB upon class frequency B is equals to class frequency of A beta upon class frequency of beta. Or if we consider B amongst A, then we write it as AB upon A is equals to alpha B upon alpha. Further, there is another method of checking the independence, which is given by class frequency AB is equals to class frequency of A into class frequency of B upon total frequency. That is, AB is equals to A into B upon N. If any of these three conditions is satisfied, then attributes are said to be independent. Otherwise, these are called as associated. In correlation, we use term related or linearly related. In attributes, we use term associated. Two attributes, in other manner, we can say that two attributes A and B are positively associated if AB is greater than A into B upon N, and negatively associated if AB is less than A into B upon N. But how strong the association is cannot be measured by this criteria. For the purpose, we use measures of association. There are a number of measures of association, among which I have considering only 5. 2 for dichotomously classified attribute and 3 for manifold classified attributes. For dichotomously classified attributes, 2 measures are used, which these are called as Yule's coefficient and coefficient of colligation. For manifold attributes, there are 3 measures: chi-square coefficient, Karl Pearson's coefficient, and Shuprov's coefficient. So for obtaining the measure of association for dichotomously classified attributes, we arrange the data in the form of following table, which is called as 2 cross 2 contingency table. Here, row represents attribute 1, or you can say attribute A, and column represents second attribute, which is also called as attribute B. Attribute A have 2 levels, A and alpha. Attribute B have 2 levels, B and beta. AB, that is the number of individuals which possess the presence of attribute A as well as presence of attribute B. Similarly, alpha beta represents the number of individuals doesn't possess attribute A as well as attribute B. B is the total number of individuals possessing the attribute B, and beta is the total number of individuals that does not possess attribute B. Capital N is total frequency, that is B plus beta or A plus alpha, or AB plus A beta plus alpha B plus alpha beta is also equal to N. So Yule's coefficient, first measure of association, it was defined by Mr. G. U. Yule, and it is given by the formula Q is equals to AB into alpha beta minus A beta into alpha B upon AB into alpha beta plus A beta into alpha B. That is the product of this diagonal element minus product of off diagonal elements upon product of diagonal element plus product of off diagonal element. Here I am calling principal diagonal as diagonal elements and other elements are off diagonal elements. The value of Yule's coefficient, that is Q, lies between -1 and +1. -1 indicates perfect negative association, and if value is near to -1, then it is called as strong negative association. As well as from 0 to -1 value decreases, the strongness of association increases in negative direction. that is proportion of off diagonal frequencies is larger than the proportion of diagonal frequencies. If value of Q comes out to be 0, then we said that both the attributes are independent. That is, there is no relationship among the attributes, and proportion of diagonal elements is similar to the proportion of off diagonal elements. If value comes out to be +1, then there is a perfect positive association, and in this case off diagonal elements will be always be 0. And if Q is -1, that is perfect negative association, then diagonal elements will be 0 and only off diagonal elements will be present. Similarly, if value of Q is near to 1, then it is called as a strong positive association, and diagonal frequency proportion of diagonal frequencies will be higher than the proportion of off diagonal frequencies. There is another measure of association for dichotomously classified coefficient, dichotomously classified attributes, which is called as coefficient of colligation. It was also suggested by Mr. G. U. Yule, and it is also termed as Yule's Y. It is given by y is equals to 1 minus square root of a beta alpha b upon ab alpha beta divided by 1 plus square root of a beta alpha b divided by ab into alpha beta. It also lies between -1 and +1, and its interpretation is exactly similar to Yule's coefficient or Yule's Q coefficient. Further, Yule's coefficient or Yule's Q and Yule's Y, that is Yule's coefficient and coefficient of colligation, are also related in this manner. Q is equals to 2y upon 1 plus y square, or y can be written as y is equals to 1 minus square root of 1 minus q square divided by q. For measuring the association for manifold classified attributes, we represent the data in the form of M cross N contingency table. In previous slide, I have taken here Fij, that is frequencies, which are also called as observed frequencies. So we can write it Fij, or instead of Fij, we can use term Oij. Both are similar. So Oij is class frequency of individuals possessing ith level of attribute A and jth level of attribute B. Chi-square measure of association is given by chi-square is equals to summation I goes 1 to n and summation j goes 1 to m Oij minus Eij whole square divided by Eij. Eij is called as expected frequency. It is obtained by corresponding row total into column total. That is Eij is equals to Oi naught into O naught j divided by total frequency. That is, for example, if for corresponding to O11 you want to obtain expected frequency, then its corresponding row total, that is O10, is multiplied with corresponding column total O01, and then it is divided by total frequency. That is E11 will become O10 into O01 divided by capital N. And so on. We further calculate other class expected class frequencies and apply the formula. We will obtain the chi-square coefficient of association. Chi-square coefficient of association lies between 0 and infinity. Its minimum value of is 0, which shows that attributes are independent. But its highest value is infinity, and we cannot decide whether attributes are strongly associated or moderately associated on the basis of chi-square coefficient of association, as it has a drawback that it doesn't have any upper bound. So to overcome this difficulty that it has no upper bound, Carl Pearson suggested another measure, which is also based upon chi-square measure of association. It is defined by C is equals to square root of chi-square upon n plus chi-square. It always lies between 0 and 1. 0 indicates that attributes are independent, but it has a drawback that it never attains its maximum value, that is 1. So Karl Pearson's coefficient can never be explained whether attributes are strongly associated or perfectly associated. This cannot be discriminated. So to overcome this difficulty, Shuprov's defined another measure, which is also based upon chi-square association. It is given by T is equals to chi-square upon n square root of m minus 1 into n minus 1 whole power 1 by 2. Here whole power 1 by 2 is missing. So we also include chi-square divided by n under root m minus 1 into n minus 1 whole power 1 by 2. The value of this measure also lies between 0 and 1. And here 0 indicates that both the attributes are independent, and value of 1 indicates that attributes are perfectly associated. So it is the measure which defines the perfect association between two attributes.